in 2007, we crossed 1 trillion. In 6-7 years, from 308 billion, we crossed 1 trillion. This was the turnaround of the economy of Pakistan, the level of turnaround. And then we also checked the balance of payment. The balance of payment deficit, because we were spending on our imports, on our debt service liability. We reduced our debt service liability through rescheduling all our debts, through also getting our debts written off by certain states. And then we increased our earnings through exports. From mere pittance of $8 billion, we took it to $16.5 billion. Remittances, from $1 billion, we took it to $6.4 billion. FDI, from $400 million, we took it to $8.4 billion. That is how we turned the balance of payment deficit. We reduced that. In fact, in 2005, as far as I remember, we had a surplus of $2 billion. This is how we turned the economy around. And may I say, ladies and gentlemen, economy is turned around. The main factor is also, when we are talking of debts and GDPs, the important issue is debt to GDP ratio. And that you should understand. A viable debt to GDP ratio, the European Union benchmark is about 60% debt to GDP ratio. Ours was, in 99, was 102%. That was most unhealthy. With the changing, as I said, of the balance of payment or fiscal deficit, balancing our budget, we reduced the debt to GDP ratio from 102% to 53%, which was very well within European Union standards. That is how we could change our economic picture. In this, I would like to also talk of how this happened, what my role was in this. You must understand, ladies and gentlemen, that interstate relations in the world are more than 50% more to do with interpersonal relations of leaders. And I very proudly can say that I developed interpersonal relations with all leaders of the world. And that is how I could tackle many issues which confronted Pakistan to the favor of Pakistan. Now, yes, I must also talk of, I think I have taken a lot of time. I need to cut down and go for your question answer. What has to be done in Pakistan is the question. Or before that, let me also give you another piece of advice on a very controversial issue of Pakistan, which you all must understand. The issue of dictatorship, the issue of democracy. I would like to touch on very critical issues which please understand, all of you. Dictatorship has nothing to do with the dress that you wear. That if I wear a uniform, I am a dictator. And if somebody wears a suit, he is a democrat. Dictatorship is a state of mind. A man, a civilian in a suit can be much bigger dictator than a man in uniform. And I claim very strongly, I have never been a dictator because I never believed in it from my heart. I believed that Pakistan needs democracy. But democracy also, ladies and gentlemen, you must understand, is not merely elections. It is not having an elected government in place and that is all. Democracy ends there. Democracy is how that elected government governs. That is democracy. You must understand. I call elections label of democracy. But the real essence of democracy is what is inside that bottle where you put the label of election, that democracy. Democracy is empowering the people. Democracy is empowering women. Democracy is empowering minorities. Democracy is liberating the media, freedom of press, freedom of expression, liberties. This is what I did in each one of them. I don't want to spend time on that. So therefore, I believed in democracy. I brought democracy into Pakistan. But unfortunately, it is that democracy which does not deliver to Pakistan. This is the problem in Pakistan. We have to tailor that democracy so that there are checks and balances on a government which is democratically elected through elections, and then it has to deliver on democracy in Pakistan. But when we talk of the government delivering, we must understand that the responsibility of any government, any leader, is to the people of Pakistan and to the state of Pakistan. Ensure the welfare of the people and development of the state. This is the responsibility of any government and any leader. And when you sitting here decide on praising me or blaming me or praising any other government or leader, please understand what is your gauge, paimana, what is your gauge of judging. Understand that the gauge of judging is not based on one event, what I did maybe with the judiciary, or what I did with Lal Masjid, or what I did with Bugti. The issue is, how did I govern? What did I do for the people of Pakistan and for the state of Pakistan? Did Pakistan progress on all fronts? Economy, telecommunication, information technology, communication infrastructure, water management, agriculture, dairy, livestock, anything. Were we progressing? And when we talk of the people, was poverty alleviation being done? Were they getting jobs, employment generation, education, health? These are the 4 areas. Now you should judge performance of a leader and government on this basis. That should be your gauge of judging. So with all this, ladies and gentlemen, finally, I would like to come to what is the future course. How do we stabilize Pakistan? What is the where lies? What should we do? How should we save Pakistan and move it ahead on the course of progress and development? That is the question. We have to first of all correct our economy and fight terrorism and extremism. That is the core issue. We have to tackle these two. And the solution lies through political and democratic means. There is no military solution possible. We have to go for a political and democratic solution to our problem. The government must deliver. As I said, the government must deliver to the people and to the state. Now we are heading towards elections. In these elections, we have to create another political alternative. We have to break the present political status quo. The present parties, the ones who are governing, have both been tried and failed thrice over in the past, since 1989. We have to bring about another political alternative, breaking the political status quo. That is the future of Pakistan, and this is possible for number 1, fair, transparent elections, and this is only possible when army supervises, and I would always demand army supervision in the next elections. And also when the interim government comes in place 3 months before the elections, an absolutely neutral interim government, and this is the job of the Supreme Court and the Election Commission to ensure that. Lastly, you all, anyone over 18 years of age can vote. So therefore, you must vote. All the educated middle class, women, youth, minorities who do not vote, who do vote but in lesser numbers. You must vote, and for that purpose you must make sure that your name is registered as a voter. You must have read that the Election Commission has published the electoral rolls. Make sure your name is there as a voter, and make sure that on the day of voting you must vote, and make sure when you vote, break the political status quo. The parties who have been tested and failed must not get elected again. That is how we change the fortunes of Pakistan. Pakistan has all the potential. God has given all the potential to us. The failure is only of leadership, a leadership vacuum, a leadership failure, a political failure, and that is what it is. So lastly, I would like to conclude with Saddam Hussein saying, the next elections will be the mother of all elections. Make sure you vote correctly. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I would be prepared to now answer any questions and answers. Thank you very much to Dr. Beena Batul. I believe she is here. And thank you very much for Tabish Hashmi Saab. I took a long time, but I thought I got encouraged by this very, very enthusiastic audience sitting in front of me. Thanks a lot.